Hello, this is Anthony Rhoda, Member of Parliament for Nipissing-Témiscamingue and Speaker of the House of Commons. With the COVID-19 pandemic having a major impact on our lives, I wanted to reach out to community leaders and business owners around the riding and check in to see how they've handled the last year. March 15th to March 19th was also the first ever Made in Canada Week to acknowledge the Canadian businesses and manufacturers who stepped up to fight COVID-19. To speak about that today, I'm joined by Don Champagne, President and owner of North Bay Plastic Molders, Peggy Stubert, Executive Assistant, Matt Rebido, Executive Sales Manager, and Cam Richardson, who makes sure that all the IT runs smoothly. Good morning, folks. How's everything going? It's great to see you all.
It's good to see you too. And thank you for this meeting. It's well appreciated, and it's a good way for us to communicate and understand each other what needs to be done in the future.
How did COVID-19 affect the business, and what can you tell me about some of the things that you had to do as a company to adapt?
Well, it sure turned everything upside down, and we had to do a very quick turnaround on how the protocols of working and manufacturing and what's important. And we got in contact with Canadore College to partner. They were looking at specifically the face shield that they were doing 3D printing on. And we had discussions, and they asked me what I could do. And I said, well, if you need $1 million a month, we'll get $1 million a month. So we started with a prototype tool. So right now we're only capable of doing about 130,000 a month, but we would have ramped up to $1 million had the sales been there. It's even though we had the shields, it was somewhat slow on the takeoff as far as marketing and sales. We still are prepared to see, but before I go too far, I gotta especially say thank you because it's been a great help to you and Ottawa for the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. That one is a huge help because when the pandemic hits, nobody knew what we were going to have to do or what we needed to do for the mining and or for the pandemic as far as the face shield. So this stuff has given us a level of stability that we'd not have had otherwise. So again, I got to say thank you guys for that.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's worked out because, I mean, I'll be honest with you, when the whole thing started off, nobody really knew what to expect, how long it was going to last, how severe it was going to be. But the last thing we wanted was to see companies going belly up or having trouble because there was no support. I'm glad to hear that's worked out. And again, you've got about 10 employees now at the new plant?
Yeah, about that.
Perfect.
We're about to get a whole lot busier, but we'll get into that shortly.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. That's good to hear because, I mean, I remember over the years, I visited the old plant a couple of times, or quite a few times over the years, just to see where you were at. And it was nice to see. And I mean, you started what, in your garage back in the 1980s, around 86 or so?
I had to walk to work every day, all 56 feet.
It's nice to see you in your new boardroom. I'm looking forward to visiting your new boardroom and your new plant to see what's going on. Now, how do you find things with the new building? Because I know the one you had down in East Ferris, that was a nice building as well. That was a good size one. And this one is, what is it, about double the size?
Size of the other ones. And it's like night and day.
One of the things that comes up often with companies in Northern Ontario, we've got certain challenges, but we also have advantages. And what are the challenges and advantages to being in Northern Ontario?
Well, another one is building is a strong issue, and the red tape that goes along with it. But with each thing, there's positives and negatives everywhere. On the positive side, we supply mostly mining industry, and so therefore North Bay Sudbury area is very important in the rest of the world as far as innovation and when it comes to hard rock mining. The products that are coming out of this area is phenomenal when you see what happens. Like we're shipping all over the world. It goes to Russia, Spain, Sweden, Australia, North, South Africa. Of course, in Canada and US as well, we're big partners with American companies. And so we have a very bright future looking at us. And because we're small, we've been able to give exceptional service. And apparently it's not very normal to get really good service. So the word of mouth around the world, is unbelievable. Because one day a company from France called me up. He says, he asked me if we could supply him with thread protectors for exploration drill rod. And he said, I said, "What? How did you hear from me? Because I don't advertise." And I says, there's nothing that goes, "Oh, how did you hear from us?" And he said, "You know a guy named Bud Laporte?" I said, "Yeah." I says, "He was purchasing for Epiroc, it was today, and what the heck was the name? JKS Boyles at the time." I said, "But he's retired." He said, "No, he's a mining consultant." He said, "We have to buy this product from you." And that's how these things come around.
What did you start off making? Was it in the mining industry, or was it what exactly was it?
Had nothing to do with mining. The first job I got was making the little check ball and valve for the Melina coffee makers out of Pembroke. I was working for Ontario Hydro at the time, and this guy I was hunting with, he running a small factory in Toronto, and he invited me to visit. And he said, "This lights out manufacturing. We don't normally let anybody in here." He said, "But you're from the boonies. We don't worry about you."
Famous last words, I guess.
When I seen what was going on in this lights out manufacturing plant this would have been around early 1981, 82. And when I seen that factory working with just 4 machines, and I said, "Who works in here?" He said, "4 women come and run around the clock, feed the machines, and also look after the packaging and everything. And then that's it," he says. And the owner has got a cabin cruiser at the end of Yonge Street and takes out the customers. And I came back home and I looked at Dun and Bradstreet. We didn't have computers in those days. Dun and Bradstreet said the guy was making $800,000 a year. And I said, "I can do that."
It's funny what spurs us on to do things. That's great. That's a great story. And now here you are in your larger plant, a long way from that garage operation that you started.
We're just beginning here now because we've got 86 acres, 45 acres is owned industrial. And I don't know another manufacturer in Ontario that wouldn't envy us for space to expand and grow, especially in Northern Ontario, and to create good, modern manufacturing jobs, high-tech jobs.